There's that one. You see screens kind of like change. It's like, oh, why is it so bright all of a sudden? Now why is it so dark all of a sudden? That's because I'm looking at my own streams while I'm making sure everything is up and at 'em. As is the fun times. Alright, let's get it to a darker screen. YouTube is the backdrop, and then awkward. You get to see that for a quick sec so I can have YouTube up. Yay! And now I get awkward stuff, behind the scenes stuff. There. Excuse me. Hello, Science Scaler, back for another stream! I talked about wanting to stream today. Yesterday. It's kind of like pasta today because it's already past midnight, but I'm kind of doing it. Not when I wanted to, but I'm still doing it in a sense. And I get to go back and practice more Japanese. Because the last time we did this, the first time I ever tried this on stream, this is an app called Yomu Yomu, which is essentially a collection of stories that you can read. And right as I start stream, I'm sorry, my throat is kind of getting blocked, so sorry for the unsightly, soundly ungodly sounds you could experience with that. But yeah, last time I read a couple of stories on stream. I got very distracted, as is tradition, so I got through like 2 pages, well, not like pages, but like 2 quote-unquote chapters worth in this more time, so hopefully I'll actually stream more today. We'll see how it goes. I get very distracted. When I streamed OS, I talked for like a full hour without playing. That was a fun time. I actually enjoyed it, but I didn't play OS. It was just a chatty stream, so I'll try to at least read and go through things today instead of just like if people come and chat, which I'm grateful for. I love chatting with you guys. I'll still try to incorporate reading in between and be like, oh, okay, I'll pause here and we'll chat. Anyways, what happened last time when I tried to do this application, I wanted to challenge myself because I did the very beginner. Where's the story? I don't have the story saved, do I? Do I have it started? No, I don't. Okay. Well, I had a story about a cat. Okay, here it is. And it's 12 chapters for the first book, in which the cat is kind of roaming on its own. And I don't remember what we saw or what we read on stream because I remember reading it off stream first and then trying again on stream. Anyways, I haven't gone beyond the first book yet, and I might at some point, but it is interesting to note that, it's important to note that, yeah, there's a full series of the story. I haven't even touched the second one. We'll see how it goes, because it seems pretty easy, but very good practice regardless for at least speaking it, if not going through it and trying to challenge my reading speed. So I like that. Today though, and what I wanted to do last time, I want to challenge myself by pushing the envelope, see if I can pick up a more difficult to read story, and then see if I can keep up with the story. For context, the story I mentioned yesterday on yesterday's stream, Gals Camping, I think it was nice to otaku, question mark? Otaka ni yasashi... I don't remember the full name of it, but I ended up reading it, and the one thing I was griping about was like the English translation is so far behind the Japanese. So I tried to look for an application last night / this morning to try to find the story somewhere on some sort of app so I can read it. And it's going to be raw, it's going to be in Japanese, but I was still up for the challenge. So I was reading through that, actually this morning when I woke up. I was trying to go back to sleep. I'm like, hey, I can't go to sleep. So I ended up going back and reading the story a little bit beyond what's translated, which is very interesting because, well, one, it took me a long while to find the actual application I can use, since the other ones, there's some sort of barrier with it that you have to have some sort of payment method to read a specific chapter, which I'd rather just buy the full manga, but I did find one with that kind of system where you get free reads per day, but you don't get to keep the pages you buy, you just only rent them for a day, which is a little unfortunate, but they give you free options, so I don't mind as much. And I feel like if you buy the system, like with actual money, then they may let you keep it. I don't know how that works. If they don't let you do that, yeah, I'm finding a different app. But for now, it works. Anyways, so I was reading through that. The Japanese isn't too bad. Like, it's gonna have a lot of difficulties in its own. But I think I was able to read 25 to 50% and then get the context of the scenario. Like, and that's what I love about manga. You get to see the visualizations of what's happening through the characters, through the scenery. So even if you can't read the words completely, you can adapt what is happening, the main idea of what's going on, and apply that to the individual words being read. I ended up getting another application, which I forgot the name of. Let's see what it's called. Kanji Lookup. And it allows you to draw with your finger. You can draw on your phone the shape of the kanji, which for the app I was using, you can't screenshot it, which completely understandable. That's a way to still work, right? But you can't screenshot on it, so once you tap out of it, it goes blank. You can't see anything on it, and that was at a disadvantage that put me at a disadvantage because it's like, what does this kanji look like again? I had to keep on flipping back and forth, going into the app and leaving it. I'm like, how do I write this? So that was a fun challenge to go through. It was a pain in the ass actually, but I got through it. I eventually got through it. I didn't do that for a lot of kanji. Again, I think it's beneficial just to learn a little bit at a time, take small chunks, rather than pinpoint every single thing in what I'm reading and then trying to translate it in real time. And that's not my belief, it is my belief, but it's not my original idea. It's kind of what I've researched through trying to learn a language, and a good approach to learning the language is to take it a little bit at a time. But I feel like that's for an average case. People are like polyglots, are very quick at adapting languages or learning languages in some cases. So I don't know, strategies may vary. For me, it's what's worked best. But I felt surprised because when I was reading through the manga, I was actually able to... I felt like I was able to read it pretty fast. It was still slow compared to reading English, because I still have to kind of move at a quote-unquote snail's pace, but I'm able to at least mentally pick up the characters being said. I don't read it out loud all the time. What I'll be doing on stream, I'm going to read out the story and then try to translate it to English before acknowledging the English counterpart in which I can use to translate. And the story, though, in the manga, I just read it to myself in my head, and I try to see what I can recognize, even if I don't know the exact grammatical structure, and most of the time I don't. I apply the context of what's being said to formulate or assume what kind of structure is being said, so that's how I'm trying to adapt learning as well. I'm not sure if it's the best idea, because there still needs to be a solid foundation in how you learn grammar. You need some sort of base. I have that base to an extent, but I don't have a strong foundation at this point. At least I don't believe so. I'm not confident enough to at least go on my own and try to utilize the grammatical structure of the language. But I do feel confident that I can pick up on some things to be able to at least apply some context to the current scenario, this current topic, the current conversation. So that's where I'm at with that. Long story short, it's fun. And it's a long road ahead. It's definitely a long road ahead. So let's see what we have today. I don't know what difficulty I want to go for. I could take the step of going gradually. So since we started with the beginner 1, go for a beginner 2, and then keep on going until I feel something's like too difficult for me, and then push back to the second highest for now. Or I could do... I'm going to call it the binary search method, where I start in the complete middle, or at a random point. And if it's too hard, I find something easier. If it's too easy, I find something harder. Until there's something just right for me. Something that's kind of challenging, but also allows me to comfortably go through it. So I need new challenges, but I also need familiarity to where I'm not completely lost. Excuse me for a moment. might have to clear my throat a lot because I didn't think I'd have any buildup of mucus in my throat. I'm like, why? Why is it like this? Let me double check. I'm be peeking that stream. Okay, cool. Sometimes it's weird to say this, but sometimes it's like you'll have interactions with people immediately when a stream starts. Sometimes it can take a while to pick up, especially for smaller streamers. So I'm like, am I sure I'm live? I see things are going down, so I like to check every once in a while and make sure that everything's smooth sailing. You can never be too safe. Anyways, tangents aside, let's go ahead and knock off beginner 1 and search. I think I might go for either beginner 3 or elementary. I kind of want to try elementary, actually. So let's start with elementary. We'll use that as our midpoint. We'll go with the second search, which I'll go with the name binary search. So we're starting in the middle. And this one kind of seems a little creepy. I like that. Okay. So there's a total of 8 chapters. We'll see how things go, if I want to read it through, or if I just only want to do maybe a chapter or 2, see how it goes. Oh, but it's targeting, okay, JLPT N4. So I have confidence in N5 to an extent. N4, kind of unfamiliar territory. We'll see how it goes. I guess this is a way to challenge myself, see if I'm able to tackle N4 at all. A cool thing, before I go into this, I was watching a video. I forgot the YouTuber's name, or the channel's name. The video, I think it's the most popular video, or at least one of the most popular video, is a listening test to gauge whether or not you can understand a certain amount of criteria for a level for the JLPT. And I was listening to the N5 example, listening to the lady talk about going to a store, like how it's raining, and trying to go to the bank and then the store and buy some groceries. So I had to pause it a few times, like rewind it and be like, did I hear this correctly? Am I sure I'm picking this up? But I actually got a lot of it, which I was surprised with. I was happy. Okay. Oh, I forgot to, let me, can I go back? No, I don't know why I picked Romaji. You know, online jail. Oh, okay. Right now, I'm not interested in that, but that could be pretty cool. I do want to show sentence translations, but I tried to hold that. If I click on it, then I don't look at it until I keep my head down, or at least my eyes down, as much as I can. Show reading for difficult kanji only. I'm up for the challenge. It's going to take longer to read, but I'll see if I can test my confidence in the kanji used, in the correct reading of them. But I want to go back to the prior screen. Do I just press escape? No, I don't. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, you can highlight the specific kanji readings. Oh, I was going to read the summary in English, but we'll just read through it as is. Be surprised. Ichi. Tegami, which is the letter. I already don't know. I already failed to recognize one kanji immediately. Something, koshi, whatever it is, wa asa. I'm already struggling with this, and this is just for like some kanji. Maybe I should. Yoko wa asa. 夫が仕事に出かけてやっと自分の時間ができた。いつものように彼女はずっと書斎にいた。その書斎で彼女は今小説を書いているのだった。This is definitely, compared to the story we read on the prior Japanese learning stream, or at least practice stream, this is quite the contrast in difficulty. Wow. I'm shooked. How am I feeling about this one? Because I can already tell this is gonna be a struggle to read. Because Yoko, I don't even know the vocabulary for that. Yoko asa, otto ga shikoto ni dekakete ta ato, yatto jibun no jikan ga dekita. So, sometime in the morning. I don't know what yoko means. I can infer the use of the kanji for child, so ko, while asa to mean a start, maybe a start in the morning, is my assumption on that. Otto, I don't know what otto is. I'm assuming that has to do with the husband, based on the shape of the kanji. I'm assuming, because that's in the same vocab. The kanji is using the vocabulary word shitsu, or not shitsu, but shujin, if I recall correctly. So I'm assuming that's either husband or something relative to husband. Shikoto ni dekaketa ato. So the husband leaves to go to work. So dekaketa is a form of leave. I don't remember what specifically this form of de or da is. So after the husband leaves for work, yatto jibun no jikan ga dekita. Yatto, I don't know what yatto is for grammar. Jibun no jikan, my time, is complete. Something is complete. So let's read that. In the morning, so Yoko asa, after her husband left for work, otto ga shikoto ni dekaketa ato, Yoko. Her name is Yoko. Okay, so this is referring to the person's name in the story. Finally had time for herself, which makes sense. Applying context, especially for the culture of a housewife or a is the complement house husband. Whoever stays at home takes care of the house while the other partner goes to work. It would make sense that once the responsibilities for preparing your partner for work, like making lunch or food, preparing any work-related items like their bag, their clothes, etc., you would have time to do whatever you need, like working around the house or maybe a little break for yourself, especially for those in families. So if you have children, then it's a lot to manage in between. So the context, and again, that's where the context comes in, where we kind of see Yoko wa asa. So the focus of the sentence is on Yoko. Otto ga shikoto ni dekaketa ato. So I feel like I'm not saying that with the perfect Japanese dialect. I'm saying like bastardized. And that's fine. But shikoto ni dekaketa ato, yatto jibun no shikan ga dekita. One thing I forgot to do, by the way, I'm gonna do it real quick. You're gonna see the embarrassing. Oh, I'm gonna open OBS again. But yes, launch anyways. I forgot. I like to have a little recording in the background. So I'm having a recording in the background. Yes. It's not. Anyways, I've dissected this sentence enough. I'm gonna try to go for a few more. And if I'm comfortable with trying to continue, I'll use context to kind of push me forward. But if I'm comfortable to keep on going, I'll at least finish the 6 pages. If not, then I'll just skip through the rest and save this for another time when I've hopefully learned more. But yatto, I'm assuming means finally. Yatto jibun no jikan. And it's kind of funny, very immediate staple in learning Japanese, but the same characters are used in different contexts for the hiragana, I mean, and we can decipher that with different kanji. I get there's pitch shift to accompany it, but I just find it kind of funny. We see jibun no jikan, the two G's there. I don't know why that's funny to me right now. Anyways, so we know Yoko, after her husband leaves for work, she finally has time for herself. いつものように、彼女はずっと書斎にいた。その書斎で、彼女は今、小説を書いているのだった。In this case, いつも means always. いつものように. And I know Yoni kind of pairs well with that. I don't recall how though. But just the familiarity of that phrase. いつものように. I don't really feel like I've heard that in the beginning of a sentence. It's interesting to consider. 彼女は, so I don't know the different variety of gender-based terms or vocabs. 彼女 refers to, it can mean a girlfriend, but it can also refer to a woman. I don't know of what specific age. Usually kind of like a she kind of thing. So the woman, she. 彼女はずっと, so ずっと kind of like forever or always in that sense is how I feel. 書斎にいた. I don't know what 書斎 is. I feel like I recognize that kanji, but don't recall what it means. にいた. So it is. It was. いた. For いる can be based on that. So いつもの as always. Okay, so いつものように is how we can say as always. She spent the whole time in the study. Okay, so Sosai is study. She whole time, so in this case, zutto is referring to whole, or the entire collection of. I see now. So 彼女はずっと書斎にいた. And again, it's past tense because ita, that forms the ta. And I need to really crack down on the rules of past tense and verbs, because I can see it and I'd be like, yeah, that's past tense, but I can't fully explain it. So katta versus ita, and that's dependent on, is it a transitive verb? There's different types of verbs I don't know the full entirety of, but just kind of a little food for thought in that. So we know shosai now is study. その書斎で彼女は今小説を書いているのだった. So again, in past tense, because we have datta. So that study, in that study, because de, kind of similar, de kind of goes hand in hand with ni in some sense, in terms of some sort of location or timing marking. So その書斎で, so in that study, she was now, 彼女は今. So she was, and then ima refers to now, right now. 小説, sho is a kanji representing small in terms of size. So sho, I don't know what setsu is. 説を書いているの. So 書いているのだった. I don't recognize that verb specifically. It kind of makes me think of the word to wear, but I don't think that's what it is. Like in terms of wearing clothing. 書いているのだった. So I can't infer the remainder of the sentence structure, and we'll kind of dissect it as we click on it. So in the study, その書斎で. And I say that study because sono refers to that, but in the study sounds more English. 彼女は今, she is now writing a novel. Ah, okay. So I was incorrect on my guess. So 彼女は今, she was now, 小説 is a novel. Okay. Which, I guess, if you think of the word setsu, I'm gonna Google this real quick. Okay. That's for the full vocab. I can't really copy it, but I will Google it. There's my screen. I moved at the speed of light, baby. So I'm gonna move that. I have so many instances of OBS things open. Let's look up Setsu. And without using the incorrect keyboard. Okay. Google Translate says theory. Interesting. So a short theory can be referred to as a novel. An opinion, a view, theory. A doctrine, a report, a rumor. Give me 1 second. Okay, so in that case, theory or explanation, but this is also Wikipedia, not the most reliable source. Got a notification from eBay that stuff is shipping out. Yay! Okay, but it's interesting then, like a small theory, a small explanation can be formed into a novel. Some vocabulary, which is a combination of different kanji, can be formulated on the independent kanji itself. So anytime I'm introduced to a new vocab or something I'm unfamiliar with, I try to use the context of the kanji to assume what the vocabulary word may be. And it's kind of fun actually to do. I love doing it. Alright, I don't like Discord being my secondary thing to block out the light, but here we are. Have a Hatsune Miku, a Sakura Miku in the background. She's watching over the pillows. Alright, in terms of difficulty, this is above my pay grade. I don't think I'm at this level yet. I'll read this paragraph and then skip through the rest to choose an easier story. We'll go with Vienna 3 next. So, Yoko wa tottemo utsukushii hito datta. So, Yoko is always... I don't know what totemo means in this context. Very? Okay, totemo means very. I've heard totemo a lot, but it's one of those adjectives that I will... or descriptors that I'll kind of forget the context of or the meaning of if I'm not careful. Yoko wa totemo utsukushii hito datta. So, Yoko was a very beautiful person. And utsukushi is an adjective representing beautiful. Hito means person. Yoko was a very beautiful person. Yeah, I got it exactly. Let's go! そして、夢は、有名な作家であり、Yokoの小説はたくさんの人から気に入られていた。So in this case, so I kind of align it to the word therefore. Kind of like because. Yume means dream. So yume. I don't remember how to actually formulate that word, but it's not yuki for dream, but it's like kind of an aspiration rather than instance of imagining while sleeping or daydreaming maybe. But yume na sakka de ari. Sakka is a word for author. So yume na sakka, na is a descriptive adverb or adjective. So suki na tabemono, favorite food for example. Suki mean like. Na is the connector. Tabemono, which is food. So suki na tabemono. Or I guess suki na shoku. I never remember how to consider the word food. So Hopefully something I'll pick up on in the future. そして、有名な作家であり. I don't know what あり is in terms of the conjugation of the verb. であり. 横の小説はたくさんの人から気に入られたいだ. So, therefore, the writing dream, the writer's dream, the author's dream is there. So there is ari, aru. Aru is more of a proposition for it is, or yeah, it is rather than they are. Because iru is an existence of a being, where aru is an existence of a thing. So person versus, or a living thing versus a non-living thing. Yoko no shousetsu wa, so Yoko's novel. Takusan, a lot of people. Takusan no hito is a lot of people. Takusan means a lot. Shousetsu wa takusan no hito kara. Kara implies from. Kini irarete ita. Ki can be a sense of energy or feeling. Kini irarete ita. This is the kanji used for entering. It can be used for many different words like iru. No, not iru, but trying to remember a couple of examples, like to live, ikeru, uses the kanji. Entrances, like an academy entrance, entering into an academy, into work, into life, you can use that kanji. Irarete ita. And again, we're going to the past tense in this. So let's read this full. Soshite means and then, or thus. Okay. Kind of close to that. She was also a famous author. Oh, that's what that is. So she already was a famous author. Not what I was picking up from that, so... Wow. Let's read that again. Soshite, yume na... Ah, because yume means famous. Okay, let me... Back to Google. Ah, okay. So I misinterpreted the word yume, which is indicative of being famous, not dreaming to be famous. Okay. So I had a incorrect association with that. Me is a form of the word name. You, I don't remember exactly what that is off the top of my head, but yume na sakka would then mean famous writer, and that makes more sense. Grammatically, that makes more sense. Deari. So, be or is, okay. And I don't, again, understand the full context of the grammatical rule there. She was also a famous author, and her novels were loved by many people. And that kind of makes a little bit more sense on the second portion. So, Yoko no shousetsu wa takusan no hito kara. So I guess kara in this case is meant to be by. I've only learned kara in the context of from. So to and from is where I originally learned it from. So in this case it's referred to as by. Takusan no hito kara. So from many people, by many people. Kini irarete ita. To like, to be pleased with. Okay, so that's just a kini iru. Ah, okay. When I went through Wanikani, one of the verbs I learned was kiniiru, which is to be pleased with, to like. I didn't learn it as to like, but to be pleased with, to be interested in that sense, and satisfied from, is how I learned kiniiru. So I didn't recognize that. Kiniiru, kini-irarete-ita. Ah, okay. Kini-irarete-ita. Makes a lot more sense. I like it. Okay. And then here's missing furikara. that's okay. We're gonna try to find out what it is. この blank は these days この頃 goro. Which I can't remember if that is, I don't recognize this kanji. So, koro? Or is it just straight up goro? I'm curious on that. But この頃は so nowadays, these days, 彼女は市長 so she referring to city, 町 referring to some sort of branch, 市長である夫よりも有名だった。So この頃は so these days, she is, I don't know what this word is. Mayor? She's not a mayor. She's a mayor? ある夫よりも有名だった。Context-wise, the husband's the mayor. That's how I'm picking this sentence up. 彼女は市長である夫よりも有名だった。We see the yorimo again, which is than, so it's a comparison. I see. A comparison to. These days, she was even more famous than her husband, who was the mayor. Okay, I would have not gotten that. That's okay. I would have not gotten that, but that's okay. So in this case, these days, so these days would make more sense in English. These days, この頃は彼女は市長である夫よりも so 市長 referring to mayor である okay, so である is be or is 彼女は市長である夫よりも husband よりも okay, so in this case, in comparison to the husband who they added is or was, I'm gonna say is in this case, of being the mayor, even though it's saying who was the mayor. With that context, it refers to the husband being the mayor. Okay. よりも有名だった. So emphatic form of yori. I see. But we're seeing that it's in comparison to. And that's where we get the matter of the left half, yorimo, is less than in terms of yume datta. Okay. So the left hand represents the comparison to, based off the implication of the context of her being famous as an author, which in that case, yorimo, I'm assuming mo is the deceptive or deciding factor, which specifies that mo meaning to, more, in this case. Yume datta. My brain's fried. It's already fried from this. But, okay, so in this case, what this story is saying, after the husband leaves, the wife, Yoko, has time to herself. She's always in the study writing a novel. Right now she's writing a novel. So, okay, so Yoko was a very beautiful person. I was like, how does that have context to what's been spoken before? And the answer is, it doesn't. So Yoko was a very beautiful person. Therefore, or thus, she was a famous author. And her novel was loved by a lot of people. These days, she's even more famous. So she's more famous than her husband, who was the mayor. Part of that is going off of memorization of the English translation. but also trying to apply what was learned reading that is also a nice challenge. Okay. And that's the story thus far. And if I ever get more courage to come back to it and hopefully figure out more about it, then I will. For now, though, I can't read. I'm not an elementary student. So let's go beginner 3. See if that is a good enough place for me. And right now I'm sticking to stories. I could go through lessons, but right now I'm a bit more entertained by stories. So let's read this before we dive in. The past and present lives of a dog. Okay. Rick is a big golden dog. He can't remember why he is here. Someone tells him, "This is the Sanzu Bridge. Everyone must drink the soup." Rick doesn't know what the Sanzu Bridge nor the soup signify. He just wants to find his owner, Shinichi. Will they be reunited? This is an original story based on a vocabulary of 800 words. Okay, I'm not close to 800. I might have been at one point. I don't remember how far I got. I want to say to at least 400 to 500 words. Because I remember I had at least a couple hundred, if not a few hundred kanji. By reading the story, you can learn about the Japanese concept of reincarnation. And that is I'm going to go back to the example of manga, because I can definitely associate my knowledge on that. But in terms of the implication of reincarnation, I don't remember the specific context or religion of Taoism, or what specifically is practiced in Japan. I don't recall. But the concept of reincarnation is applied. I can say that much. I don't know beyond what kind of term that is, but a very popular genre in manga these days is isekai, which means another world. I referring to the kind of different or another. Sekai meaning world. So I always think of the term isekai. I always thought of it as like, this is a standalone genre. But then you think about it, and sekai is actually very, I don't know if I'm saying introductory vocabulary word. It's definitely N5, but it would be one of the first vocabulary you would reach in like the first 100 or 200 words. Somewhere around there. But I haven't come across yet. Like other than reading manga, I haven't come across it naturally. I don't even remember what the kanji is for I. I just know sekai. So it's kind of funny there. Anyways, let's read. 1. ここはどこ? So, I just read this. I cheat in saying where is this, but I was gonna guess where is this based on ここはどこ? Doko meaning where, koko meaning here. Where is here, I think is how I was gonna say it. One moment. I'm gonna have to apologize. I don't know why. I started tonight, and even though I've had no issues today, my throat started becoming like filled with mucus. Now it's starting to get dry, so hopefully I can at least somewhat remedy that by hydrating. And hopefully you guys are hydrating as well. ここはどこだ? 陸は横を見た. Okay, I don't recognize that kanji. But this repeats the title, so where is here? Rick saw... Excuse me. So Rick saw the... I don't know what Yoko refers to. So Rick saw what was next to him. Okay. Okay, you're gonna reveal... Okay, I only wanted that first sentence. I'll read the second one first then. But Rick saw what was next to him. Rick は心を見たことがなかった. So Rick こを見たことがなかった。Based on reading this immediately, Rick saw nothing next to him. So Rick はここを So it's referring to Rick. ここを見た referring to looking here. So ここ here. 見た見る to look. ことがこと I forgot what こと normalizing suffix. Okay. So we'll look at the example here in a sec. なかった So past tense. And なかった So not. From the Indian term ない So it's just the past tense of ない So nothing. So where is here? Or where was here? Rick saw nothing, or Rick looked next to himself. Okay, I see now. So Rick looked beside himself and saw that nothing was there. Where is this? Rick looked to the side. Rick had never seen this place before. Ah, okay. I'm trying to associate the koto in the sentence. So it says it's used to normalize a verb, adjective, or even an entire sentence that precedes them. I recognize the kanji. So this would be, it seems to be somewhere between N3 and N4. So I'll need to look into koto, because I don't understand it. Because there's an example, 私は料理を作ることが下手です。I am bad at cooking food. 私は料理を作ることがI wonder, because this is the verb normalizer, if it's normalizing the verb within the middle of the sentence to be applied to a further usage of that verb. So in that case, I am bad at cooking. 作ることが下手です。So it's describing the cooking at the end, but it's not ending the sentence with 作る, which means to cook. But it's ending with is. So this. And that kind of makes me the あなたのことが好きです. So the classic line in all that is Japanese anime, manga, just love stories. Yeah, あなたのことが好きです. I want to type that in as well, just to kind of make sure I'm saying that right. And the first thing that fucking pops up, what does koto mean in the Japanese sentence? あなたのことが好きです. Or 大好き. And before I even clicked on it, one of the the thing that popped up under the sentence on Google is like, it means I will destroy you. Like, look at that. It means I will destroy you. I can't even make this up. That's fantastic. I love that. Never change, Quora. Never change. So yeah, that's the sentence, but it makes sense because I've never understood what koto was in that, but picking up on verb normalization. あなたのことが So no あなたのことがあなたのことが makes a bit more sense in that context. I need to study more, for sure. But going on the second sentence, I had the first two, other than the word side. I feel like I'm confident and comfortable with those. Rick had never seen this place before. リュックはここを見たことがなかった。So it's not directly in terms of a verb preceding that is the highlight of the main purpose of the koto. Maybe it is, but how I'm perceiving it at this time, I don't feel that's the case. But Rick had never seen this place before. Nakatta referring to never instead of not. I guess it could be a form of not, but not seen because ta is still past tense, meaning seen. That makes a bit more sense. So let's continue from there. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Hana de nioi o kaida. I don't know what hana is. Not to be confused with flowers because that's not the same kanji. Hana de nioi o kaida. And I want to say that's a smell. I don't think I've seen the verb for smell, but I know it's nioi to represent a smell. Yeah, so nioi. So that's the kanji used. I'm gonna forget the kanji. Maybe I'll remember in the future, but for now. What is this word? Nose! Okay, hana for nose. So from the nose, I don't look at you just yet. From the nose, kaida. I don't know what ka is, so I don't know what this verb is. Sniff to smell. Okay, and that makes sense based on the context. Hana de nioi o kaida. So it's saying that Rick smelled from his nose. No? Oh, okay, so I can tap your search. Thank you. I actually don't want to look yet. I want to look at this, but if we're going to reveal the full thing, then I'll hold off. リュックはここに来たことがなかったので、少し怖くなった。買ったので。So this is like a continuation of, even though, this I might be wrong on, but right now my belief is, even though Rick came here, so リュックはここに来たことがなかったので、even though Rick had not come here before, 少し怖くなった。He was kind of not afraid. So there's a few things to interpret. Of course, the koko meaning here, koko ni here, kita koto ga, kita meaning to come. One of the most funky words, one of the most funky verbs in Japanese is going to be kiru, which is to come. Let me Google that. Kuru. Okay, I was wrong. Which I'm not gonna blame myself, even though I've heard it so many times. You hear it usually with ki instead of ku for a lot of forms, but kuru means to come, and it's one of the rare, at least for common words, it's one of the rare instances of the verb not following a standardized form. So let's take mita instead of miru, it uses mita. Instead of using, right there, mita again. Kaita, kaida. I don't know what the verb is. Kagu. Okay. So it'd be kagu, but in this case it'd be kaida. Okay.
To smell.
No, I don't want it in English.
Kagu. Kagu.
Kagu. Yeah, that's the same conjugate. Ryuku wa koko ni kita koto ga. But anyways, with kuru, you usually replace the ku with ki, which that kind of can apply to not the first hiragana used. It usually doesn't happen. it applies to later kanji use because you have to replace ru or gu or whatever u verb or ru verb you use with the appropriate marker or the appropriate context or whatever the word is. I can't think of that word right now. Regardless, it's still fascinating. Kuru, if you don't know much about Japanese and are wanting to learn, kuru is often used, and it's a very interesting topic. I would recommend looking into it. I might look into it a bit more because I'm struggling to even remember the full context. Anyways, let's see, what was I talking about? Riku wa koko ni kita koto ga nakatta node. So in this case, kita means to come from kuru. Koto ga is the verb normalizer. Nakatta node, nakatta, referring to not have before not never, not have. Node, which I'm assuming is the because of. Okay, even though, is that close to because of? That being the case of, because of, the reason is, okay, I'm gonna say it kind of has the same feeling in use, but it's not the same. So I still feel nice knowing that, well, not knowing, but I still feel nice with my guess. It feels kind of nice. That's not too far off. It might not be too far off. 少し怖くなった. 少し meaning a little. I sometimes get tripped. Right now I'm getting tripped on it. I sometimes get tripped on sukashi and sukunai, which use the same kanji and are kind of similar in meaning. Oh, no, sukashi means a little or a few, where sukunai means not many. And sometimes I'll get those intertwined. Let's turn that light off. So, sukushi kwaku natta. So, a little not afraid. Because natta is a negation, but in past tense. So again, he smelled with his nose, and then even though Rick, because I'm trying to remember what that was. That being the case that Rick was never here before, he was still not a little afraid. He smelled with his nose. Rick had never been here before, so he became a little scared. Ah, okay. 少し怖くなった. I didn't recognize the kanji for kwaku. Be scared. Okay. It looks like it's kowagare. Because you hear kawaii yo, to kind of represent I'm scared, and it's pretty common in Japanese, but the full verb I don't think I've heard before, at least rarely have come across it. So that's interesting.
Be scared of.
No, not in English, damn it! No.
Be afraid.
Alright, no, okay. How about this?
怖がる
There it is. Kowagaru. Kowagaru.
怖がる
Kowagaru. So, 少し怖くなった. 怖くなった. Okay, that makes more sense then. No, I'm gonna take that back. So the natta, the negation there, does not make sense to me. 少し怖くなった. So he became a little scared. I feel like 少し怖くなった would make a bit more sense, but maybe it's because it's not a negation, but more so natta feels a little more natural than datta. Could be why. So I'm curious on that. I'm not too sure, but I am curious. Okay. We'll move on though. But he smelled with his nose. Rick had never been here before, so he became a little scared. And Tano de, so the node right here, because of this, then the second portion is how it's supposed to be used. I see now. Ryukku wa 4 hon. Okay, I was not going to get that. It is a book, so 4 hon. But 4, sometimes the readings for numbers can change depending on the context of which the number is used. And those are very, from what I've heard, difficult to learn when learning Japanese. Counters are a pain in the ass from what I've heard. Just because there's so many different ways to use the pronunciation of the counters. And then applications of not only the number being said uniquely per counter, but also how the counter is pronounced based on the number used. So, for example, if we use the term 100, I need to pull up a list because I still have yet to learn how to pronounce the hundreds. While I'm looking this up, fun fact, the Japanese counting system is not the same as, especially, was it Arabic counting? I forgot the number system specifically, but the way in which the Japanese language counts is similar until you reach 10,000, which in that case 10,000 becomes its own unit rather than relying on the thousands. So in Japanese it goes ichi, 10 for 10, 100 for 100, 1000 for 1,000, man for 10,000, and then I still need to learn beyond that. Typically, if you want to say a million in English, or in Japanese, if you want to say 1 million, you would say 100,000, which is 110,000s, which is equal to 1 million. So you're kind of doing math. You're kind of doing math at that point, if you're not familiar with the counting system. I have to think about how to count in Japanese, so it's very interesting. Right here. No, that's thousands. There is for thousands, so like the sen has its own rule for 3,000. Instead of san-sen, it's san-zen. And for 8,000, instead of hachi-sen, it's ha-sen. And those make the flow of the word a lot easier to say. But in terms of hundreds, there's more rules compared to the 3 and 8. Alright. Ow. I can't find an easy source for the 100s, so I'm just gonna hope that this is correct. But we have 100, and then we have 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then some. So in this case, I thought there were more, but I was wrong. The 300, instead of ha or hya, we'll use bya. So 300. I don't remember what that's called. And I just watched a video which included that topic of using the alternate form of the direct hiragana. I really wish that I knew what that was called. So 300. And then the fun part, because we're using ha, the h/f's, ha hi hu he ho, we have ro pyaku, which pa pi pu pe po uses a maru compared to, I forget what the 2 slashes are called, but the drop can be considered a maru, which is a circle. But ro pyaku, instead of roku hyaku or even roku pyaku, it's ro pause, pyaku, and then instead of hachi pyaku, hachi hyatku, it's hapyaku. So again, the flow is a lot different in that, which is really nice. So in that case, yeah, it's a crazy set of rules, but I do have more numbers. So 10,000 is mon, 100,000 is jumon, which is 10 thousands. A million is hyakmon, hyakumon, which is 100 10,000s. I don't know about this one. Isenmon for 10 million. I haven't actually tried to learn Isenmon because I thought there was a different term. So oku would be the next step up, I guess. I thought there was something in between oku, or between mon and oku. But 100 million is ichioku. And then to go to 1 billion, you do juoku, which is 10 100 millions. Hyakuoku, which is 100 of 100 millions. And then senoku, which is 1,100 millions to represent 100 billion. And then I don't know what the full pronunciation of the second term is. I'm assuming cho, because the term for 1 trillion becomes icho instead of ichicho. Yeah, cho is the form of chi, which is a base hiragana. So we're I don't know why I said default hiragana earlier, but it's one of the immediate ones you learn. And then I need to know what is ba and pa of ha. Rendaku. Okay, so the term is a rendaku, which I couldn't think of earlier, is how some terms are altered to make the pronunciation a bit more flowy. It's essentially a phenomenon in Japanese which causes the pronunciation of the non-initial word in a compound to change, and sometimes there are exceptions to that rule. And it usually is only for Japanese words, but can take place in foreign words like Chinese or other foreign words. I don't think it's a simple topic to talk about, but it's interesting nonetheless because it involves the consideration of how something is pronounced, but not everything is straightforward either. I'll sometimes be able to guess it as I'm reading for words I don't recognize. Be like, is this how it's pronounced? Is this how it's going to be pronounced? With rendaku in mind, it's like, okay, this is pronounced with ha, pa, ba. I do the more simple ones because, again, ba and pa is its own ballpark. And get what I did there? I did the ba, ball, pa, part. Anyways. Ow. Rendaku. Something to look for more information of, for sure, to better understand why it's used. Anyways, that's enough of a tangent. Let's continue reading. Riku wa 4本の足でゆっくりと前に歩き始めた. So Riku wa 4本. So this is a counter for 4 books の足で. And I don't know what the meaning is in this manner, but ashi refers to a foot or a leg. Yukkuri. So slowly, yukkuri. So if you ask someone to speak slowly, 日本語でゆっくり話します。でいいですか? I don't know how to ask someone to speak slowly in Japanese. But yukkuri means slowly. ゆっくりと前に歩き始めた. So in this case, oh, I can click on that and that's how it toggles. Cool. So in this case, oh, okay. I see what's going on now. So Implied by the context, Rick gets on his 4 feet, his 4 legs, and slowly walks. So aruku means to walk. Aruki. Hajimeta comes from hajimeru, which means to start, to begin. Hajimeta started to walk forward. Mae can be represented as forward. So, リュックは4本の足でゆっくりと前に歩き始めた。Means, well, I'm assuming it means Rick got on all fours and slowly started to walk forward. Rick started walking forward slowly on all fours. Why did you include the next sentence? Okay. I got a spoiler, but I'm still gonna try to walk through the sentence and rationalize it. ここは変な場所だった. And this is pretty straightforward. ここは means here, 変 means weird. And I see this kanji more and more often. I never traditionally learned the kanji for weird, but I've been seeing it a lot. I kind of get it mixed up with the kanji for love. So koi. ここは変な場所だった. So hen, weird, is describing the place, 場所だった. So here was a weird place. This was a weird place. Or strange. Yeah. So going to the next statement. 家もない。車もない。たくさんの人が歩いていた。So this is saying the house also isn't here. Well, the house isn't here. There are no houses. There are also no cars. たくさんの人が. We learned this from the past story we tried to read with the author. So たくさん referring to a lot. So たくさんの人が. So a lot of people 歩いていた. And since it uses the same verb for walking, to walk, たくさんの人が歩いていた means there are a lot of people walking. So there were no houses, there were no cars, many people were walking. That's kind of scary to think of in modern times. No cars anywhere, no houses anywhere. You're in a field, but is there a road? I'm curious if there are any roads. But that would be kind of a scary sight if you're normally around these different places that you're so familiar with. So, the first paragraph, that was a journey to get through, but feels a lot easier in comparison to the elementary level story we were reading. I think this is still challenging to a point where I can at least apply context to better understand what's going on. Even though I'm incorrect with the statements, I feel like I'm I'm somewhere between 30 to 40% correct on what I'm reading, at least. If not, I'm at least 50% off on some of the stuff I'm picking up in context. And that's okay. I'm getting a lot of the words that I can recognize. I'm getting those kind of well. And this is quite challenging, so I like it. But yeah, going for the first paragraph, we then know that Rick does not know where he's at. He's looking everywhere, he's looking to his sides, he's looking in the distance. He hasn't been here before, and frankly, even when trying to smell the area, it's implied by the dog that because they have a strong sense of smell, they can use that to familiarize themselves with different aspects, such as location, territory, because you pee on things as a dog to claim territory. Just as an example, you greet with your scent, essentially. So, Rick is not able to recognize where he's at, and he's scared. He's at least a little bit scared. So, after trying to familiarize himself with his surroundings, or at least try to pick up what's happening, he then gets up and starts walking forward. There's no houses anywhere. There are no cars anywhere. But there are a lot of people walking. To summarize, Rick's in an unfamiliar place. Confused. A little scared. But he's going to try to figure it out. It seems like he's going to try to figure it out. Alright. みんな、どこに行くんだろう? So Rick says, and we can use that because I don't know what these marks are called. It's kind of like what quotation marks are in English to denote when someone is speaking. I learned recently, at least in manga, that actual quotation marks, like similar to English, can be used, but I don't know how that's specifically used yet. I don't know much about it. But I thought like, so English alphabetical characters are being used like that. Interesting. みんな、どこに行くんだろう? So, everyone, where are you going? どこに refers to where. 行く means to go. And it uses the form of 行く with an んだ. んだろ? Which I don't really pick up on, so I guess, or a conjectural form of copula da. Where do you think you're going? I guess could be a way to interpret it, but it feels more natural to think of it as, where are you going, everyone? I wonder where everyone is going. That makes more sense. Okay. So I was off because he's thinking out loud to himself. That's a thought. みんなどこに行くんだろう? I wonder where everyone is going. Okay. So, だろう can be, I guess, in the same context of 思う to think, 思う. I'll have to come across it some more and try to pick up the context on that. Interesting. リュックはわからない。わからない。リュックはわからなかったので and I need to go to the next page. No, don't play, you silly little. その人たちの後ろを歩いていた。Okay. So, リュックはわからなかったので So, we ran into no de earlier, right here. So, because Rick did not understand, wakaru means to understand. But it's negated, nakatta no de, because Rick didn't understand. その人たちの後ろを歩いていた。So, その referring to those. Well, I guess that more specifically. But 人たち refers to people, and it's plural because of たち. So その人たちの後ろ referring to behind, 後ろを歩いていた. So if we had to combine everything together, so Rick didn't understand, because Rick didn't understand where people were going, I'm trying to combine everything that's happening in that second portion of the sentence. その人たちの後ろを歩いていた. So people, those people behind, so その人たちの後ろ, so those people's behinds, or, so it's connecting a verb to something. 歩いていた. If I had to take a guess, they're not looking backwards, but they're not walking backwards either. I'm assuming, okay, my assumption, my best guess, is because Rick didn't understand what's going on, he started walking behind the people. So he started following the people from behind, because they seemed to be going to a destination. Rick did not understand, so he was walking behind those people. Yes. Woo! I feel happy about that. That one, I built upon context and was able to get pretty much the meaning of it, so that's a point. That's a point for me. Nice. ここはどこだろう? 僕はどうやってこの場所に来たんだろう? So ここはどこだろう? Where were we going? 僕は どうやってこの場所に来たんだろう? So だろう, again, going back to thinking, that which we have in the same paragraph. Where are the... I wonder where these people... What place these people are going to? Oh, I guess Kitan are coming from. Coming to doesn't see... At least not in the proper way you speak English. You don't say coming to. So, ここはどこだろう? ここはどうやってこの場所に来たんだろう? どうやって? Ah, okay. I've heard どうやって before. I couldn't remember what it meant. So it means how. どうやって? In what way? By what means? And I think the second one relates most. I relate most to in understanding. So in what way did I... Oh, okay. I think I get the second part. So ここはどこだろう? ここはどこだろう? So this... Where is this? Where do I think this is? The dado is throwing me off. Where do I think this is? I should have read the second part out loud. Okay, I need to read it again. Because again, doyate means in what way. Okay, I got it now. In what way did I come to this place? Is what I think the second question is asking. I wonder where this is. I wonder, how did I get to this place? And again, it's part of that wonder, part of that curiosity that daro, using this form as a question, is perceiving. I think I understand now. Daro, I've always associated with, isn't it? Hontou daro? Instead of this kind of meaning in terms of wonder. I think that's kind of like how I've understood it to this point, so I think I need to reconstruct my understanding of daro. But that's interesting. So, ここはどこだろう? 僕はどうやってこの場所に来たんだろう? So I wonder where this place is. I wonder, how did I get to this place? So you're starting to wonder, why am I here? So to summarize the second paragraph, I wonder where everyone's going. Because Rick doesn't understand, he started to follow behind people. He's wondering where this place is. And he's wondering, how did he get to this place? Okay. So smaller in comparison to the first paragraph, but still a lot of context to push us forward. It's like, why am I here? Just to suffer? That would suck though. If I were in this position, I would probably be freaking out. Because it's assumed that Rick's a dog. But regardless, the amount of understanding that an animal has, that we as humans cannot comprehend directly without extensive research or testing. Animals are smart. They can act instinctively, just naturally, but in terms of what they're able to understand, perceive within this world, is just interesting, to say the least. But mind-boggling. In the sense that you wonder what they can really understand of this world. I'm gonna turn off that, by the way. I'm gonna try to challenge myself. I've already cheated a little bit, but I'm gonna try to keep it off from now on, and then maybe turn it on to make sure what I'm saying out loud is what is correct. So let's see how it goes. Riku wa takusan kangaeta. Kangaeta. So I already read that. I read the furigana, but kangaeru is to think. An N5 verb, I would argue. Takusan kangaeta. So Rick had a lot of thoughts. Shikashi, kao ga, I don't know what that is. Fukunatte, nani ga okite iru no ka wakaranakuta. Wakaranakuta. Wakaranakunatta. So there was one that I didn't understand, which is this verb. itai. Ah, so kawa ga itai. Ah, okay. And I'm gonna admit now, I often get the kanji for face and head mixed up. So atama ga itaku natte nani ga okite iru no ka wakaranaku natta. And this is sad, because this really drives home. We know that's a story about reincarnation. Rick's dead. Ryuku ga shinukatta. I wonder if that's how you pronounce it correctly. If it's shinukatta or shinikatta. I'll have to I know I keep on saying I have to review this and that, but it's true, I need to review so much. Takusan kangaeta. So Rick had a lot of thoughts. Shikashi. Atama ga itaku natte. Shikashi, I can't think of what that means. Oh, however, Shikashi. However, Rick's head was in pain. So, atama ga itaku natte. So Rick's head was hurting. Nani ga okite iru no ka? What did Rick wake up to? With what Rick woke up to, wakaranaku natta. He did not know. Rick thought a lot. However, yes, his head started to hurt and he did not understand what was happening. Okay. That's quite a bit to unpack within that second part. He did not understand what was happening. Nani ga okiru? Ah, okay. I mixed up the verb okiru for waking up rather than to occur. So okiru. Okiru means to wake up with the same kanji. But in this context, it's meaning to occur, to happen, to take place instead. Got a bug in the background. It is gnat season, baby. One check. I'm gonna grab a zapper or something. Zap the little bug. Might have to. They get a little annoying every so often. But anyways, going back to what we were reading. Atama ga itaku natte nani ga kite iru no ka? So his head started to hurt. I guess natte means to become in this context, so to become implies starting off, whereas transitioning at the beginning. So that makes sense why it reads as it was starting to hurt. It started to hurt. Give me one quick second. I'm gonna turn on my little microphone and my little camera. At least I was going to. I'm back. I was gonna try to kill that little bug that was flying around, but don't know where it went. So that's a fun little project for later. Anyways, going back to what was being read. Nani ga okite iru no ka wakaranakata. I cannot read this. I'm trying to read it fast because I'm trying to increase my speed. Or practice a bigger speed, but Sorry, intrusive thought. I pulled up my OBS. I'm like, shit, did I keep my echo on this whole time? I just saw the fly go right above me. Okay. Wakaranakunatta. 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 I'm just gonna leave it there. But his head started to hurt and he did not understand what was happening. Nani ga okiteiru no ka? So, for what was occurring, wakaranakunatta. He did not understand. And that makes a bit more sense, expanding upon that a little bit more. Interesting. Okay. I think I'm gonna try to go through the story a bit faster, because I am reaching my mental limit right now. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep on going. But let's continue. Ryuku wa skoshi dake kiete ita. Lucid, thank you much for the hydrate and welcome on in, my dude. How's it going? Ryuku wa skoshi dake kiete ita. Atarashi I actually don't know how to read that. Because right here, you can read it as an extension of the verb boru, but this one, atarashi to, maybe the kanji for one? You're at work? Gambatte. Gambatte. Dang. Work, be real, my dude. I feel that. Is it, did you just start working, or are you on the grind of it for today? Oh, okay. I don't feel bad about this one, because that's a name. That is a name. 10-hour overnight shifts go. It's only 4 shifts a week though, right? Right? I don't get how people can do longer shifts for less work days. It's worth it in one sense to another, but it's still so much to sit through in one period. I mean, of course, adequate breaks, but is that your preference, Lucid, or are you able, if you worked 8-hour shifts in comparison, which one do you like more? Excuse me. So Riku wa skoshi dake kiete ita. Shinichi to bouru de asonde ita. So I'm assuming Shinichi was his owner. Only 4 tens unless I have mandatory overtime, that's 5. I mean, they're at least compensating well for that, right? That nice little overtime pay. Please, Lucid deserves his pay, damn it! Boss! Boss man, woman, person thing! Adequate paid now. What kind of work do you do, Lucid? If you're open to talk about. Okay, but going through the sentence, skoshi dake kiete ita. So a little bit had came out. Kiete referring to, I'm going to say, arrive? To memorize, to remember. Okay, I was off. But I've seen that term before. So, oboiru. How the fuck? Oh, oboiru. Instead of, okay, I was thinking of kieru. I'm a warehouse worker? Oh, are you forklift certified? Be so hot if you're forklift certified. That'd be kind of cool though. Like, I know that's just like another day in the life of people in the warehouses operating machinery, but I guess from an outside perspective, it's such a meme, but at the same time, being forklift certified sounds so cool. I don't know why. It just sounds so awesome. I wonder what you can do in a warehouse other than inventory, moving to shipment containers, inspecting objects or product, maybe? I guess communications of some sort, or overseeing, I don't know, because if it's a warehouse, if you can oversee the creation of materials, because that would be a factory setting. I'm just an order picker. So kind of like if you had to describe it, something like communicating with clients or customers or maybe vendors to oversee inventory and make sure that you're stocked. Or maybe, or order picker as in you receive the order and then you pick the items to go for that order and package it. Something like either of those? That feels like it has a combination of like the second one. Okay, so you take orders and then you pack them by finding the materials associated. Okay, that feels brain dead, but also highly conscious at the same time. Because like in terms of repetitiveness, hopefully this doesn't come across as rude, because it's just more so like in terms of mental awareness for this kind of job, it just kind of feels like it's repetitive, but you still have to give great attention to detail. Yeah. Which, I don't know, some people like repetitive jobs, and I guess technically many jobs are repetitive to an extent, but with inventory management or order fulfillment, that feels most definitely repetitive. I don't know how you'd be able to do it, man. That is my hat's off to you. Was that cringe how I did that? I mean, I'm already cringing myself out by I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I mean, that's just work in general as well. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Some people like it though. I don't know. But I just turned my brain off like I'm back in high school. Come on. I was almost a high school math teacher. God damn it. Nah, that's fair. Sometimes you can just sit there and like if you have fun thinking about things randomly, or I don't know if you can do things while on the job. That sounds kind of fun. If you can keep yourself not bored, like preoccupied while on the job, at least get to enjoy yourself in some manner. Excuse me. Okay. As a constant consumer of things, Sky-sama, thank you very much for your hard work. And hope, are you staying hydrated? Shall I redeem hydrate for you too, you silly? I'm gonna get back to the sentence in here a sec, but you've listened to so many audiobooks? Ooh, formal literature, I see. What kind of books do you like to listen to? If I had a choice, I would listen to Japanese books, and even though I wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying a lot of the time, be like, oh, I recognize that. Audiobooks are pretty nice because you can be hands-on while being immersed, well, at least partially immersed into another world. That sounds so nice. But anyways, going back to this, speaking of story. リュックは少しだけ覚えていた. So Rick remembered a little. シニチとボールで遊んでた. So with Shinichi, they were playing with a ball. He's playing with Shinichi with a ball. So yeah, about the same in context. I feel like how I might have seen it seems a bit more natural in English. So he was playing with Shinichi with the ball. It sounds grammatically correct too. A little awkward, but it still gets the job done. Fantasy and dark fantasy mostly, and some lit RPGs every now and then. Ooh. Or RPSs. As in like role plays? Oh my god, Lucid, are you a role player? The fantasy and dark fantasy. Oh, I'm trying to remember that one story. It was a 1980s visual novel in which you climbed a tower and I'm trying to remember how it was. Oh, RPGs? Ah, okay, so it was RPG. Kind of makes you wonder, off topic, but like, you know those books? They're kind of like visual novels in the sense that you can read through a book and it gets to a point where you make a decision. You turn to a new page based on the decision you make and get an ending or continue the story. I wonder if that would be possible to do with an audiobook. Because you'll have to give some sort of input to it. You can't just think what you want to do next. You have to touch a button, you have to say your choice out loud. Maybe you'll be able to look at it if you're wearing some sort of glasses or headset, but you have to give some sort of input back. Like noticeable input. That'd be kind of cool though. Don't look. Okay, nice. シニチがボールを下げて投げる。Ah, okay. 投げる meaning to throw, to hurl, to fling. 僕がそれを口でキャッチして、それから僕はdon't recognize that 漢字がついていた。Oh, お腹。Okay. So belly. Would probably have to integrate some sort of speech recognition or a specific interface for that. Yeah. Which, I don't know how easy that is to do. I've never tried it. And it feels like, especially with how common it is these days, it seems pretty easy to integrate that. I don't know how. Because the accuracy of your speech being recognized through some living API or some common APIs, it's kind of flexible, but at the same time, if you had to manually make one, no, that'd be a lot of work. But that would still be cool though. I don't know. I know some people aren't allowed to talk on the job. Some people are given the liberty to freely chat with others. Though some people don't care to talk with one another, but I mean, the fact that you can use your earbuds, headphone, listen to a book on the job sounds pretty nice, actually. シニチがボールを投げて、僕がそれを口でキャッチして、それから僕はお腹が空いていた。Okay. So in this case, Shinichi throws the ball. So Shinichi threw the ball. I, meaning Rick, それを so that with his mouth was catching the ball. So キャッチして so キャッチ meaning catch, but して makes it a verb. キャッチしてそれから and from there 僕はお腹が空いていた。空いていた means and from there my stomach was the usual comparison I have with onaka ga suita is the stomach being empty, meaning in English, I'm hungry. So I think that's what that might be happening. So in this case, Shinichi throws the ball, Rick catches the ball with his mouth, and after that, Rick was hungry. Ah, okay. Shinichi threw the ball, and I caught it with my mouth. Excuse me. Also, I was hungry. Sorekara. Okay, so I thought Sorekara was in terms of like from there, which is kind of similar to after that. But I guess in this case, it's also I was hungry. Or I was hungry. Okay. しにちが牛肉を待っていたので、それを見ていた。しにちは僕に牛肉をくれた。So in this case, I don't know what I'm saying in this case. Every case is a new case. But here, 牛肉 refers to meat, specifically beef, 牛 from cow meat, or beef. しにちが牛肉を待っていたので、So, Shinichi was waiting for the beef, which I'm assuming is either waiting for it to arrive or waiting for it to cook. In the context, それを見ていた. I saw that Shinichi was waiting for the beef. Shinichi は僕に牛肉をくれた. And then, the next sentence says, Shinichi came to me with the beef. Ah. Shinichi ga gyuniku o. Oh! Okay. I was thinking of materu, I think is what is to wait in Japanese? Matsu. I was thinking of the verb matsu, which the right construction of the kanji is correct, but the left construction is kind of like a little I. So you have like a little line there and then you go straight down. Or you have two lines, which are kind of like parallel lines, and then the second line is connected with a vertical line going straight down. So that's matsu. This is... what is this? Motsu. I mean, that's correct with the M, right? Let's see. To hold in one's hand, to take, to carry. Motsu. Okay. Which the left character comes from fingers. And then I don't know if I can apply time with fingers to form the verb to hold, to take, to carry. No, that's kind of a stretch. It might not be. Right now I just can't think of the association. Shinichi ga gyuniku o motte ita no de, sore o mite ita. So, Shinichi was holding beef, so I was looking at it. So tanode goes back to because of this, or explaining the right portion based on the left portion of the, at least the segment of the sentence. So, Shinichi wa boku ni gyuniku o kureta. Shinichi gave me beef. Okay, so kureta. The receiver is the speaker or someone close to the speaker to give. To let have. Ah. So Shinichi literally let Rick have the beef. Or what's easier to say in English? Shinichi gave me beef. Yeah. それから let me hide that. Click on that. それから僕とShinichiは川で泳い I'll need to figure out this is to swim. 泳いでいた Okay. So それから from there 僕とShinichiは川で泳いでいた So it's kind of like Rick is trying to recall what is happening, or what had happened at that time. So from there, Shinichi and I were at the river swimming. We're swimming at the river. Swimming? I don't like the use of also because in this case, sorekara is more so integrated with from there, because kara, from, sore, that. But I guess and then or after that makes sense too. Okay. Maybe it just has multiple interpretations. それから僕とShinichiは川で泳ぎでた. 泳いでいた? Oyogu. So in this case, oyo, and then iteita. So in this past, I'm gonna hide that. So in this past paragraph, Rick's trying to remember what happened. Because prior to that paragraph, a lot of thoughts were coming back to Rick. So Rick remembered he was with Shinichi, which again is presumed to be his owner. They were playing catch with the ball where he was catching with his mouth. I forgot what this was. To throw, to hurl, to fling, nagate it. Okay. I'm probably going to forget that word. That's fine. And then Shinichi got hungry. Or sorry, Rick got hungry. Shinichi came to Rick with some beef. And then they went swimming at the river. That swimming part seems oddly familiar to Rick. I think he's remembered what happened. それから、リックは頭がとっても This is something to do with sickness. I don't know. 痛くなった。それからどうした? I think it's itaku, meaning to hurt. Itai. Okay. So it's an adverb in this case. 痛くなった。それから、リュックは頭がとても痛くなった。それからどうした? リュックはもう何も思い出。Slower. ゆっくり。リックはもう何も思い出せなかった。And then, Rick's head. No longer hurts. So Rick's head no longer hurt. From there, why? What? From there, what else? どうした? From there, what happened? どうした? What happened? Rick could no longer remember anything else. And then, Rick's head began to hurt very badly. Okay, way off on that. リックは頭がとても痛くなった. Okay, so again, I'm getting confused with the form, the negative form, and in this case, it's not the negative form. Or the verb is literally translated to not hurting, which I don't think it's that case for itaku or itai. Because again, this is an adjective. So it's a different verb, or a different ruling. It's an e adjective. So, 痛くなった. So his head began to hurt very much. Okay, that makes sense. What happened then? それからどうした? How did it become? AKA, what happened? Rick couldn't remember anything anymore. Okay. I guessed right on the last sentence, but let's read through it anyways, just to see how things pair. Rick wa mo. Mo mean anymore, no longer, or any longer. Nani mo, anything. So nani mo is anything. Omoi dase nakatta. Omoi means to think. Omoi daseru. Just recall, to remember. Oh, omoi das. Okay. Not omoi daseru. Omoi das. Okay. So I guess it pairs nicely. A bit awkward still in terms of trying to think about how to say that, but it's understandable. Okay. Nice. リックはもう一度自分がいる場所をいろいろ見た。 しかし、そこに新日はいなかった。I'm gonna cry on that sentence. And I'll explain why. もう Rick, once more, Rick was already looking around, looking at various things around him. However, he could not find, or he could not, or he didn't find, how do I say the second part? However, Shinichi was not there. Rick, once again, もう一度 meaning one more time. Okay, that makes sense for context. Rick once again looked around at where he was. 自分が So 自分 refers to yourself, so myself in this case rather. 自分がいる場所を 場所 refers to place. 自分がいる meaning to be. 自分がいる場所をいろいろ can refer to various. All sorts of. And what's a fun fact, I'm gonna pull this up on a notepad. But Yuro is one of the many examples of which a repeater is used for the kanji. A repeater, which is nomo in Japanese, is a character which signifies that you can repeat the same kanji and using the, I forget what it was called from earlier. Well, I'm going to show you this for now. A nice little rendaku. I forgot what the source was, but using rendaku can sometimes be pronounced differently from the original form. But in this case, this is iro iro, which iro itself as a kanji means color, like a physical color. Like you have gray behind me, blue, lighter gray, creamy white. I don't know what the, maybe grayish blue on my eyes, brown hair. Colors. So how does color become various? Well, if you combine multiple colors together, you have various choices, or you have various combinations. I don't know if that's why they chose it or not. I actually don't know the story behind it, or the reason behind it, but I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, this little guy right here, bring it up one more, is called Noma, which is a repeater, so Noma. But we never pronounce a repeater with the term Noma. The pronunciation of the second portion of the vocabulary word is always based on the first portion. So in this case, iro iro. I need to think of some examples for that. Okay, so the formal name of the kanji repetition symbol, which is the noma, is called a dono jiten, which literally means same character mark. Dono means same, ji meaning character, ten, which can mean point, can also mean a mark. And it appears the reason why this is called a noma is because it comes from the katakana no, which I'll type out, and then the katakana for ma. So it combines no right here and ma. That's interesting. I actually did not know that. So that's just a random Google search. That's really cool. But there you go. Yuru taihen desu ne. I remember Iro from Roki, made by shit, who made that? Well, it's a Vocaloid song. Roki is very, very popular. But yeah, the more you know. Anyways, going back to the reading. So once more, Rick looked around himself at the various... So basically, iro mita. So at various things Rick looked at. But looked around at where he was. Try to capture the scenery. However, しかし、そこに新日はいなかった。Shinichi was not there. And that's why I was gonna cry earlier. I miss Shinichi already. Shinichi はどこに行ったんだろう? I wonder where Shinichi went to. 一緒に泳いでいたShinichiはどこに行ったんだろう? We were swimming together. So I wonder where Shinichi went. Where did Shinichi go? Where had Shinichi, who was swimming with him, gone? Doko ni ittan daro? So now... I forgot the dog's name already. Rick. Rick is conscious that Shinichi's not there. Where did he go? That's what that paragraph is basically saying. So from this page, Rick's remembered. He remembered what happened up to the point of where he was to what's going on now, before his head started hurting a lot and he couldn't think any longer or any further. Which again is very sad, because that's like a form of repression, I feel. He's not wanting to remember, but he's still trying. Ryuk wa hayaku Shinichi no tokoro ni ikanakucha. Let me read that one more time. Ryuk wa hayaku Shinichi no tokoro ni ikanakucha. Hayaku Shinichi no tokoro ni ikanakucha. So, to omotta. So Rick thought to himself, omotta, I need to hurry quickly. I need to get to the place Shinichi is at. So I need to go to where Shinichi is. Riku wa sukoshi shinpai ni natte. I don't know how to pronounce this, but I know what it is. Mae. To run, I thought it was nigatte. Nigeru? But I don't know if that's the case here. Hashiru. Phoenix? Phoenixu? I don't know how to say things, but welcome on in. How's it going? Hashitta desu yo? Ah, arigatou gozaimasu. Okay. Is it appropriate to say irashai? This isn't the shop or anything. I guess maybe a formal... From here? 3 a.m. I guess we would say good evening or good morning. Like, even though it's morning, it'd still be evening. Eigo de... ii desu ka? 私の日本語が下手。I will speak passion 日本語 the best I can. I hope you are doing well. And yeah, we're just practicing some reading. 全然日本語 sorry. I cannot read with the heart there. 全然日本語が日本語理解きますよ。全然に日本語理解できますよ。Oh. I'm excited. I don't know how to read that. I'm breaking down sentences. 日本語お上手です。You're too kind. ありがとう。ありがとう。練習。少し練習。たくさん練習。How do I say I don't practice much? I do not practice much. This is where I'm at. I'm practicing reading, but being able to form the sentences, that's something I struggle with a lot. So I'm glad I can at least read it just fine. And I appreciate the hiragana as well. Zenzen Nihongo Rikai de. Oh, Rikai. Rikai? Dekimasu yo. I'm currently looking this up real quick. Go men. Go men say. Chotto. Okay. So understanding, being aware. Ikai. 全然日本語理解できますよ. So in that case, that would mean you can speak. Well, Google Translate says you can speak Japanese perfectly. Kanpeki. However, ikai means to understand or understand of. Understanding, comprehension. And then, sorry, I'm just gonna run through the last one real quick. Nihongo o jouzu desu. Oh wait, no, we already read that. One thing, o in front of a noun. So, o jouzu. 例えば、お上手。なんで、おは、上手前に、おなんで That's the closest I'm gonna get. Why is o used in front of the word Josu? If that's okay to ask Phoenix. Alright, and while I ask him to get back to some reading. Because you did say that it was a hashita. And that's with the, okay, with the small tsu. Riku wa hayaku Shinichi no tokoro ni ikunaku cha to omotta. Riku wa skoshi shinpai ni natte hashita mae ni, or hashita. Mae. That feels so weird. この変な気持ちは Passion Japanese この変な気持ちは Soku. I can't remember the word for strong. 強いです。前へ走った。So in this case, Rick is trying to run, or Rick wants to go to where Shinichi is. And that's what he thinks here. I have to get to where Shinichi is. To the place, Tokoro, meaning place, that Shinichi is at. I need to go. So, 少し心配. He's starting to worry a little bit. になって走った. So, 少し心配になって because he was worrying a little bit. なって Oh, okay. So, never mind. なって means to become. So, Rick was becoming a little worried and ran. 前へ走った. Forward and forward, Rick ran. Rick thought, I have to get to where Shinichi is quickly. Rick, becoming a little worried, ran. He ran forward and forward. So in that case, mae emphasizes going forward. That makes sense. And I know with the nuance of Japanese, emphasizing particular words, again, when we were talking about the noma, the repeater, kind of in the sense that there's just I don't know the full understanding. I don't have the full understanding of how it stacks, how it can stack, if there's any nuance to stacking. I'm gonna go back to anime for this one, but daisuki to really emphasize I love you. But just in a lot of the common text, because in English you can say I'm very, 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 very glad. Or in Japanese, it'd be... I'm getting mixed up with noma. That's a completely different thing for just the use case of specific vocabulary. Maybe that's what it is. Anyways, let's continue. Rick I actually don't know that kanji. Oh! We saw this earlier with nose. So, Rick wa hana de nyoi o... I forgot, this means to smell. I forgot how it's pronounced. Kakuita. That'd be kaeda though, right? Is how that's read. I'm surprised I didn't question it earlier. And again, just part of the verb conjugation. While I try to research this on the Google, for those that are listening in, again, either to the live stream or watching the VOD, if you have not in a while, make sure you're hydrating, get some water in you. Mizu o nonde kudasai. It is a past informal tense. Okay, so it'd be naita. night as I am seeing. If someone does know and wants to correct me, please do. Because I would love to fully be confident on what I am learning. So please call out any mistakes I make. Even if it's pronunciation, I would love to hear your thoughts and feedbacks. I would very much appreciate it. Anyways, going back to reading. しかし、新日はいなかった。So in this case, リクは鼻で匂いを嗅いだ。嗅いだ Yeah, 嗅いだ。しかし、新日はいなかった。I don't know why I always want to whisper. It feels like I'm trying to lower the emphasis, but started too early. And at that point, I'm like, oh, well, I'm done for. But let's translate it because Rick was smelling with his nose. However, he could not smell Shinichi. So, however, Shinichi was not there. Rick sniffed with his nose, but Shinichi was not there. Okay. Nice. そこにいた人たちはみんな遠く I'll come back to that. 遠く走っているリクを見て。We saw this earlier. Blank な犬だなと思っていた。そこにいた人たちはみんな早い。Okay. So quick. I think I may have seen this in the past, but I'm more associated with this form of fast. 早く走ってるリックを見て。Yeah, I got it right. Nice. リックを見て。I always feel, whenever I see this kanji, I get the feeling that it's supposed to be like a negative meaning in what the word is. So kind of like a bad thing. Strange. Oh, hen. That was the... Okay, so not necessarily bad, but strange. 変な犬だなと思ってた. So there were, or with there being a lot of people, 人たち, everyone. How do you actually interpret this first portion of the sentence? That one I'm a little confused on. So we'll come back to that when we read through it. 早く走っているリクを見て。変な犬だな。So quickly running, Rick saw. And again, maybe I'm just growing my mental capacities at its limit. But yeah, again, I'm getting confuzzled by the structure of the sentence right now. 変な犬だな. Strange dog, isn't it? That's a strange dog, right? と思ってた. So the people that Rick was running past quickly thought, what a strange dog. All the people who were there watching Rick run fast were thinking, what a strange dog. Okay, I got this part. I will take it. But, そこにいた人たちはみんな. So みんな referring to all. So everyone. 人たち referring to the people who were there, そこ meaning there, そこにいた, so people that existed, that were there, 速く走っているリックを見て watching, so 見て Rick run fast 速く走って were thinking 思っていた and then 変な犬だな what a strange dog. Okay, so breaking it down makes a lot more sense, but that's still like a mental hurdle to get through. リックはどうしてみんなが自分を見ているのかわからなかった。I got it pronounced well that time! わからなかった。So in this case, リックはどうしてみんなが自分を見ているのか Why is everyone here watching me? I don't understand. Rick didn't understand why everyone was looking at him. Okay, so pretty much there. So in this paragraph then, if we were to kind of summarize it, so Rick is determining, because he couldn't sense Shinichi was there, he needs to find where he is. And Rick is starting to grow a little worried. So instead of just trying to search around nonchalantly or with some, how to say, with some cadence, he said, shows that panic or shows that worry as he starts to run. But as he's smelling for Shinichi, he can't sense anything. So he can't find Shinichi's scent. The people watching Rick run are thinking, that's a strange dog. What a weird dog. But at the same time, because people are looking at him, Rick is wondering, why are you looking at me? Mushi ga iru. Mushi ga kuru zo. Bug came back. Anyways, next part. 女の人がリクの前に立っていた。Okay, so this one, okay, there's more to it. リクはその女の人を見た。Okay. So, a woman, 女の人 means woman, がリクの前に立っていた。So, a woman standing, or a woman in front of Rick stood up. リクはその女の人を見た。So, Rick watched that woman. A woman was standing in front of Rick. Rick looked at that woman. Oh, okay. So, 立っていた does not mean to stand, but rather, or at least in this context, does not mean that she's standing, getting up to stand, but rather she's already standing. I see. Okay. 彼女は元気がない顔をしていた。彼女の顔はとっても白かった。リクは彼女が can't remember that kanji off the top of my head. 着ている服を見たことがあった。Okay, to wear. So, 彼女は元気がない顔をしていた。彼女 refers to the woman. 元気がない顔をしていた。So, 元気 refers to a form of energy or state. She did not seem... It's kind of like how we would say in English, well. Energized, I guess, would be a good comparison, but well is more associated with genki. So, genki ga nai kao means a face that does not look well. O shiteita. So she had a face that did not look well, or that was not well. 彼女の顔は とっても白かった. And it's further emphasized in the next sentence in which Rick, I keep on forgetting Rick's name, emphasizes that her face looked very pale, aka very white, is how he literally says it. Because you know when you have a face that's very white, it looks pale, meaning that you look unwell. It further emphasizes that, yeah, someone's not doing well. リックは彼女が着ている服を見たことがあった。So, 着る。着ている。So, 着る is right. 着ている to wear or to put on. So, 彼女が着ている服を見たことがあった。ことがあった。And from earlier, こと I think was the normalizing suffix. Okay. I cheated by looking at it. But Rick saw. Okay, so Rick saw that the woman was wearing clothes. There were clothes on the woman. I don't know how that. I'm a bit confused by that, so let's read through it. She looked downcast. Downcast, I wouldn't consider. But is that what the literal translation of Genki ga nai kao? If I don't want to type in Japanese on my keyboard, please switch. Okay. I'm not seeing any immediate result, so I guess from the context provided, downcast does make sense. But I feel like there might be more suitable words. I don't know if that's the literal translation, but I wonder what else could be there. Or if that is what it should be. But yeah, her face was very pale. And again, that's emphasized by how white the face looks when it's normally, what could normally be a peachy color. That's kind of the idea behind it. Rick had seen the clothes she was wearing. Rick は彼女が着ている服を見たことがあった。So in this case, Rick saw the clothes that were there that she was wearing. I see. Okay. I'll take it for now. Interesting though. Interesting. Rick はどこで見たのだろうと考えた。学校？病院？ So Rick thought to himself, where have I seen implying those clothes? At school? Hospital? Rick thought, where did I see it? School? Hospital? Okay. So not too much beyond that. そうだ、病院だ。新日が病院にいたとき、そうだ、病院だ。新日が病院にいたとき、この服を着ていた。That's right. It's the hospital. That one time, Shinichi went to the hospital. These clothes, so this clothing was worn. This clothing was there. That's right, the hospital. Shinichi was wearing these clothes when he was in the hospital. いたとき、この服を着ていた. Okay, so I guess the context of who was wearing the clothes is on Shinichi, since he did go there once. この服を着ていた. Alright. Which, again, that's part of the beauty and the horror of Japanese. Contextual meaning behind certain keywords or just sentences sometimes gets lost in translation. Because, again, especially coming from an English background, a lot of emphasis is put on the subject matter, aka the usually the person or the subject being discussed. So it makes sense though. So to summarize the paragraph we went through, so there was a woman standing in front of Rick. Rick saw the woman, or was looking at the woman. He noticed that the woman wasn't looking well. She's looking downcast, as it's stated in English. She was looking pale. She was wearing something he recognized. Was it from a school? Was it from a hospital? It actually came from a hospital. As he remembered, Shinichi was once there wearing those same clothes at a hospital. So, I guess to actually summarize now, I just reread it, or paraphrased, but to summarize, can't think of words right now. To summarize, Rick looked at a woman and noticed, those are hospital clothing. I know that comes from a hospital. And if I had to assume from this, he's going to start thinking, what are hospitals associated with? Why is she wearing hospital clothing? What does that mean for me? So it's interesting to see where this goes. 女の人はリックの頭に手を I don't know what that kanji is. で、リックにかわいいかわいいワンちゃん。あなたもここに来たのね。名前は何？と来た。So, the woman goes to Rick's head, and with her hand, I'm going to say that means pet. Pets Rick? I just don't know what the kanji is. Oh, okay. So it means to put oku, to place. So, 頭に手を置いて。おいでおいで置いて。So, in this case, the woman goes to Rick, places her hand on his head, and says to Rick, Kawaii Wanchan, which means cute puppy. Wanchan isn't the direct name of a puppy in Japanese, I think, because the term koinu, which combines the words child and dog for puppy, is used. But I think Wanchan is like a nickname for a puppy, if I've understood the usage of it. But Wanchan signifies the puppy. So it could be implied here that either the girl or the woman sees, dog! And you know how people are with dogs. They're like, they're such the cutest puppies. Dog's literally 13 years old kind of thing, but it could be an actual puppy as well. It could actually look like a very small dog. So, cute dog! Cute puppy! あなたもここに来たのね? So you came here too. 名前は何? And she's asking, what's your name? The woman placed her hand on Rick's head and asked Rick, Sweet doggy, you're here too, I see. What's your name? So, pretty on the point there, I would say. A few things here and there are different, but I think I got the general gist of that. So essentially, woman goes over to the dog, pets it, and is like, you're cute, but you're here too. What's your name? To To summarize, the woman's interacting with the dog now. リックは、僕の名前はリック。教えて、ここはどこ？と聞いた。So, this one feels straightforward. Rick says to her, My name is Rick. Teach me. Rather, in this case, it'd be more natural to say tell me, but teach me. Where is here? Where is this? Koko meaning this. Or here. Yeah. 女の人はリックが言った。Oh, how do I say this? 女の人はリックが言ったことがわからなかった。リックはワンワンと言っただけだった。No, it's gonna be one of those stories. Makes sense that it is. Makes sense. So, I'll explain the second part and why I'm laughing at it, but the first sentence, 女の人はリックが言ったことがわからなかった。And that one I couldn't understand at first, but the second sentence helps me understand the first one, and now I feel like I understand the first sentence. So in the first sentence, the woman does not understand what Rick is saying. The second sentence then says, Rick was saying, Wan, wan, or bark, bark. Wan is like a bark in Japanese. So that's why I was laughing like, it's a story of where dogs and animals can understand humans, but not vice versa. And that makes me wonder, are animals going to be coming into play with like different species in this story? Is it focused specifically on Rick as the only animal? Opens the mind, but let's go back and actually compare the translations to how it's translated here. The woman did not understand what Rick said. Okay, and that makes more sense how that's said, because Rick ga itta koto ga wakaru nakatta. And again, wakaru means to understand. Wakaru. So she didn't understand what Rick was saying. What Rick said, what Rick was saying, I feel like are synonymous. Just different wording. All Rick said was, woof, woof. Only B. Okay. So all Rick said was, wan, wan. That makes sense. So in that case, last part summarized. Woman doesn't understand dog speak. Good to know. Woo! And with that, we got through the full story. Man, I'm exhausted. But I was exhausted mentally from the second page. But we made it through. And with that said, I think this is still quite a big challenge for me. I feel like my level of interpretation is far better compared to the elementary level, which makes sense, because it's supposed to be easier, right, in comparison? And I feel like it's not to a point where it's too uncomfortable to attempt to read. With that said, I think I want to continue this story specifically, and maybe I might continue it on stream. If I find myself too distracted, I might just record it offline and just upload a VOD of it. I'm not sure. Because that allows me to kind of like skip through to the main things and make it shorter. But I had fun. This was a lot of fun. So with that said, that's going to be where we end today's stream at. Thank you guys very much for stopping on by during the stream, just watching the VOD, either or. And I hope to see you on the next one. Take care, drink water, and same old, same old. Bye-bye.